Good morning, my name is Debo Onifade, and today I'd like to talk about oil subsidy removal in Nigeria. People have been talking about using cooking gas to power generators instead of petrol, and NLC Labour has been talking about using CNG to power um, small cars in public transport and things like that. And I'd just like to correct some of the stories and offer my own humble advice. First of all, there's a video about 2 kg of cooking gas, which is largely butane in Nigeria, being used for 12 hours for electricity. And when I started reading these things, I mean, a lot of people shared with me. And first of all, I knew that the text was not written in a way that suggested the reality. A typical user or an engineer, it's somebody that studied engineering, would not use those words. Even typical users will not use those terms. What we would probably say in Nigeria is, depending on my load, this generator would last me, 8 to 10 hours. And they wouldn't even talk about kg. They probably would talk about amount. I spend 2,000 and this generator will last me for 8 hours every day. How do you even measure the kg? How did the guy measure the 2 kg? And the engineering maths don't add up. A 2,000 watt, it's 2.5. What's even the kV of the generator? And I looked at all the numbers, and I don't want to go into the engineering maths, but if you look at what a typical generator like that will consume, in propane gas, typical propane gas in the West, certainly that generator, a 2.5 kVA generator, I think that gen looks like a small 2.5 or 3 kVA generator, that gen will gob far more than 2 kg in 12 hours. Estimate, I think, between 16 and 24 kg in 12 hours. So it's false. And I think people should not worry themselves about it. I think, yes, cooking gas can power some of these generators, but you might end up still spending more than using petrol. And of course, because these generators are not, this is kind of, retrofitting the generator. It's not going to last long. It's going to damage it quicker. It wasn't designed for that. So right now, petrol still seems like a better source of power for small generators in Nigeria. But I'd like to talk more about what Labour has been saying. Labour has been talking about CNG is cheaper. And I think somebody should correct them and say the cost of, if CNG equivalent to 1 liter of petrol is cheaper than petrol, that doesn't mean it will be cheaper for vehicles to use CNG. CNG, for those people who don't know, means compressed natural gas. Ideally we'll be talking about natural gas, but because we don't have a lot of natural gas pipeline around Nigeria, most users have to depend on trucked natural gas. So the natural gas is compressed, trucked from source to retail locations across the country. First, many vehicles, we will not be able to convert many vehicles in Nigeria to CNG. That's number one. Number two, even if we succeed in retrofitting a vehicle to be able to use CNG as a fuel, what about consumption rate? It's not about per liter rate, it's about consumption rate. That's what we should be talking about. What vehicles? My Toyota, if I retrofit my Toyota to be able to use CNG, compressed natural gas, covering the same distance compared with using petrol, how much would I spend per week? Those should be the discussions. And by my personal view, I don't think it will be cheaper. I still don't think it will be cheaper. So it will be an option. It will be a great option. But I think we should stop, the Labour should stop this narrative that CNG is cheaper than petrol. Nobody can say that yet, okay? You have to compare apple with apple. It's not about liter, it's about consumption. You don't even know, you've not tested them. And again, many vehicles in Nigeria will ultimately not work well with CNG. So I think the focus should be on mass transit. Now, there are vehicles that have been manufactured, factory designed to work with CNGs and big vehicles, and I think those should be the focus. State governments should invest heavily on procuring mass transit vehicles to their states. This is not federal government. It should be state governments investing heavily in the area of delivering mass transit, big buses, different locations in their states, and providing subsidized transport. Now, I am very worried for my staff. I have some low-earning staff in Nigeria because, and that I know that they will struggle with the new rate. And I think state governments need to deliver transport. Now, if we can fix transport for low-earning people, that's something fixed. It doesn't have to be only big buses. We can have, Lagos has something called last mile vehicles, last mile buses. These are small, tiny buses that can ply estates, small, small estates, locations, small, short distances. I think state governments across Nigeria should deploy those vehicles, and they should import those vehicles that have some factory design for CNG. Those ones will do better with CNG. CNG was considered in the manufacturing process, and I believe that can help us to save money. We can certainly help people. So for me, the initial focus should be on the poor people, the unemployed as well as the underemployed people. I think we need to probably stop this. I don't want to say stop. We need to modify this conditional cash transfer thing. Anything cash in Nigeria can be abused. We need to find a way to deliver money to poor people without handing them cash, whether it's food stamps or cards they can use to procure drugs or things like that, or provide them with free health care. We need to help them, but we need to avoid cash. We need to do everything possible to avoid cash, because that's what makes it easy for the government officials to steal. I also think giving tax breaks is important until things settle down. Right now, Nigeria is people earning 0 to 30,000 per month are exempted from payroll tax. I think we can move that to maybe 50,000 or so, 60,000, just to make life easier for low-earning people, because the people suffering the most are the low-earning and unemployed people. So maybe 0 to 60,000 should experience tax exemption. Companies earning 25 million right now per year exempted from tax. I think we can also push that up because my cost of energy in Nigeria has really grown, a lot. And any company, we wouldn't probably enjoy that tax break because of our earnings. But the point is, every company is suffering right now. But I think we need to do as much as we can to make it easier for the people at the lower end. So those are the 2 points I want to make today. I think the CNG focus, we need to stop talking about it for the retail. I think we should focus on CNG for mass transit, for bus, for government controlled mass transit. When we talk about tax cut for people at the lower end, and as per the people talking about cooking gas for small petrol gens all around, I think we need to, technical bodies, engineering bodies to come out and debunk this real quick so that people don't get, people don't run into such, errors around the country. I think that'll be all from me today. Till I come your way again, I wish you a blessed weekend.